Thanks, Sam, and thank you to J Street for convening this call. And it's great to see so many allies and partners on here. I've been inspired by the work of all of you and by the words of so many rabbis. I'm not often on panels with so many rabbis, and it's been really special to hear all of your insights ahead of Tisha B'Av. There's a link in the chat where you can see our website, which includes a recent webinar we had on the humanitarian disaster in Gaza with our Director of Policy Research and senior official from COGAT. So I'm the director of our Young Professionals Program, IPF Atid, which means the core of my work is to build communities of young American Jews who are deeply committed to a secure Jewish democratic Israel and know that the only path to maintaining such a state is through reconciliation with the Palestinians. In the wake of the atrocities committed by Hamas on October 7th, this has only become more challenging and more urgent and critical. We know from the data that the vast majority of young American Jews care about Israel, feel connected to Israel, believe in it as the homeland of the Jewish people, and also feel deeply conflicted and even distraught by the actions of a government that conflicts and contradicts their Jewish values, moral values, and political values. They want to be connected to Israelis and Palestinians who share their own vision and values. However, the discourse about Israel is dominated by those who despise Israel on one side and those who are completely blind to its flaws on the other. And so many of the thousands of people who find us feel completely isolated and alone in their complex relationship with Israel, despite actually being the majority. And that makes it even more urgent to me to be clear and loud and bold, which is why I'm so glad to join this webinar that makes it so clear how many of us are really aligned here. Because many of us are connected and committed to Israel and also troubled and horrified by what's happening. And it's important to not feel and be alone in this. In light of that, we bring together a really broad spectrum of Jews across political and religious divides, working in partnership with an array of diverse Jewish communities and organizations across North America to engage them in a pragmatic, policy-oriented discourse centered not around relitigating the past, but about focusing on a horizon for Israelis and Palestinians with both peace and security, which we know are linked and go side by side. You can read our statement on our website, but last week Israel Policy Forum affirmed that Israel has every right and indeed an imperative to hold Hamas to account. But after more than 660 days of war, the only way to defeat Hamas is to engage in a political strategy, not a military one. The U.S. is critical to what happens next. President Trump's call for the United States to own Gaza earlier this year gave life to the fantasies and also plans of the Israeli extreme right and provided an unrealistic endgame for Prime Minister Netanyahu's pursuit of total victory. And the U.S. must lead on a course correction, which is all to say that this war was once just, but has been prolonged for too many months at the expense of the hostages, of Gazan civilians, and of all Israelis. We need to provide a vision for a better future that includes substantive policy paths to get there. So let's envision a future where Israel's security is strengthened through steps to resolve the conflict with the Palestinians, a future where a reformed Palestinian Authority provides real governance, rejects extremism, and becomes a legitimate voice of Palestinian aspirations, a future where Israel becomes fully integrated into the region, leading to greater prosperity and stability in the Middle East. We know that the majority of American Jews support this, and there's enough data to indicate that Israelis can get behind many variations of this as well. And you can find on our website all of the reports that deal with a variety of those issues. This will be a future where Israel's strategic direction reflects the ideals upon which it was founded, a future where the U.S.-Israel relationship is strong and enduring, rooted in our shared interests and democratic values. And for any of that to happen, for all of that to happen, this war, the plight of the hostages, the humanitarian disaster in Gaza, and Hamas's reign of terror all must end. Thank you so much.